Oh. Sorry.
Never met a Clark before.
Oh, I've never met a Lois before.
How about we
Look,
find...
you think you can rustle us up some coffee? Black with sugar.
Cream. Cream, 4 sugars.
Today we'll compare 2 Superman-based TV shows, Lois and Clark, that came out in the 90s, and the current Superman and Lois. The latter just announced that Season 4 will be its last season, meaning both series have 4 seasons. Since Lois and Clark came first, let's start with that one. The series starred Dean Cain as the Man of Steel, also Clark Kent, and Terry Hatcher as Lois Lane. It also starred Tracy Scoggins as Cat Grant, Michael Landis as Jimmy Olsen, and Lane Smith as Perry White. The series loosely followed the modern origin of Superman established by writer John Byrne, in which Clark Kent is the true personality and Superman a disguise. The series focuses on the relationship and romance between Lois and Clark as much as the adventures of Clark's alter ego Superman. Lois and Clark was second in its time slot during the fall behind Murder, She Wrote, and scored high with adult ages 18 to 49, a key demographic for which advertisers pay a premium. However, it finished at number 65 out of 132 primetime programs. ABC considered this an overall disappointing performance, though they approved an entire second season in hopes that changes being made by the production staff would increase ratings. In Season 2, Cat Grant's character was dropped. Lex Luthor was eliminated from the main cast and became an occasional guest, and Michael Landis was replaced with Justin Whalen as Jimmy Olsen. The Olsen role was recast because the new producers felt Landis was too like Dean Cain in age and type. Though there was no central villain this season, the criminal organization Intergang served as an overarching menace. Nearly half of the villains were directly or indirectly affiliated with Intergang. Removing Lex Luthor as the main villain also allowed other villains from the comics to appear, such as the Prankster, Metallo, and Toyman, though they generally went by their civilian names rather than their supervillain code names. This season also featured the debut of fan-favorite villain Tempest, and H.G. Wells appeared as a time traveler. In the season finale, Clark proposes to Lois, but Lois' response is not shown as a cliffhanger for the next season. Season 2 became a success and garnered higher ratings in its initial airings, ending the season in 58th place. Season 3 averaged more than 18 million viewers per episode and ranked 44th. Due to this strong performance, ABC renewed the series' contract for 2 more seasons instead of just 1. However, the series weakened in its Sunday 8 p.m. time slot and was shifted to 7 p.m. in January, and was further moved to Saturdays in the spring. The ratings dropped even further, and the show finished its last season in 104th place, averaging less than 10 million viewers per episode. It was removed from the schedule in May 1997. The show's producers and writers were unprepared, and the network canceled Season 5 plans. ABC paid an undisclosed sum to Warner Brothers to get out of the second half of the 2-season commitment they signed at the end of Season 3. Dean Cain was the first actor to audition for the part. Series creator Deborah Joy Levine initially dismissed him as too young, telling her casting director they were looking for Superman, not Superboy. Ouch! Gerard Christopher auditioned for the role of Superman and was chosen by the casting director. However, when the casting director read Christopher's resume and discovered that he had previously starred as Superboy, she immediately dismissed Christopher. According to Christopher, she told him, "You've done this already." Phyllis Coates, who played Lois Lane in the first season of the George Reeves TV series, became the second Lois Lane to return and play the character's mother. Neil and Kirk Allen make a cameo as the married couple sit down on the train when young Clark is running at super speed parallel to it, when a young Lois Lane watching Clark. Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher both appeared in Supergirl for 2015. Cain portrayed Jeremiah Danvers, Kara Zor-El's adoptive father, while Hatcher played Mon-El's mother. Terry Hatcher played Lois's mother, Ella, on Smallville. When casting Martha Kent, all the actresses trying out for the part showed up in stereotypically farmhouse dresses, but Deborah Joy Levine envisioned a more modern Martha Kent, who wasn't just a farm wife. So when Kay Kalin showed up in a pink jogging suit, the first actress not in a farm dress, Deborah immediately knew she had found her Martha Kent. Now let's take a brief look at Superman and Lois. The show stars Tyler Hoechlin as Kal-El Clark Kent Superman, Elizabeth Tulloch as Lois Lane, Alex Garfin as Jordan Kent and Jordan Alzas for seasons 1 and 2, and Michael Bishop for seasons 3 and 4 as Jonathan Kent. The series was intended to be part of the Arrowverse's Earth Prime in its first season, developed as a spin-off of Supergirl, with Hoechlin and Tulloch respectively reprising their roles from Supergirl and The Flash, with the conclusion of the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event serving as a backdoor pilot. Still, as the series went on following the cancellation of planned crossovers with Supergirl and Batwoman due to the COVID-19 pandemic, showrunner Todd Helding and Warner Brothers decided to keep the show separate, with the series instead taking place in its separate continuity. It's taking place on a different Earth to the Arrowverse's Earth Prime, which was confirmed in the second season finale. In the first season, Clark Kent Superman and Lois Lane return to Smallville with their sons Jonathan and Jordan, where they are reacquainted with Lana Lang, her husband Kyle Cushing, and their daughter Sarah. Their idyllic lives are upended when the Stranger enters and by Morgan Edge's secret experiments. During the second season, Superman's painful visions lead him to an encounter with Bizarro.
It's fascinating. He's like some warped version of you.
While he also butts heads with Lieutenant General Mitch Anderson. In addition, Lois deals with the Inverse Method cult led by Allie Alston, who swayed Lucy Lane to her side in making enemy of Bizarro for her supposed conquering of this world. This third season has Superman contending with the plots of Intergang, while Lois Lane suffers from stage 3 inflammatory breast cancer. Following the deaths of Pia Manaheim and Bruno Manaheim's surrender, Lex Luthor is released from prison, while Manaheim's frame-up of him killing Lois Moxie is exposed. He then plans his revenge on Superman and Lois Lane, which involves a resurrected Bizarro. On Elizabeth Tulloch's request, Lois Lane's wardrobe is often made of direct recreation of Lois's outfits from comic books. Tyler Hoechlin was cast as Superman Clark Kent without having to audition. The scene where Lois and Clark first meet in the planet's bullpen plays very similarly to the first meeting in Superman in 1978. Specifically, Tyler Hoechlin's physical performance and speech pattern pays direct homage to Christopher Reeve's performance. Superman and Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, offer unique takes on the iconic superhero and his relationship with Lois Lane, but they differ significantly in tone, style, and focus. Superman and Lois, which began in 2021, follows Clark Kent and Lois Lane as they navigate the challenging paths of parenthood while dealing with threats to the world. It combines superhero action with family drama. The tone is more severe and grounded, focusing on the complexities of family life and the responsibilities of being a superhero. It's primarily set in Smallville, giving it a more intimate, small-town feel. Whereas Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, aired from 1993 to 1997, and this series focuses on the romantic and professional relationship between Clark Kent and Lois Lane, with a lighter, more comedic tone. The tone is romantic and adventurous, focusing significantly on Lois and Clark's will they or won't they dynamic. Mostly set in Metropolis, highlighting the bustling city life and the journalistic endeavors of the main characters. Both shows have their charm and cater to different audiences. Superman and Lois is great if you enjoy a mix of superhero action and family drama, while Lois and Clark is perfect for those who love romantic adventures with a touch of humor. For my take on the character, I always preferred Lois not knowing that Superman and Clark were the same. It made her unique love triangle, with Lois always swooning over the Man of Steel while ignoring the advances of the nerdy Clark Kent. Yet if she accepted his advances, she would get the man of her dreams. I also loved how she tried to get Clark to change into Superman. One of my favorite scenes in Superman 2 is when Lois throws herself into the river thinking Clark would change into Superman, only to have Clark save her from the rapids.
You're what I thought was Superman?
Sorry.
I prefer the Superman stuff to be set in Metropolis, with the Superboy stuff set in Smallville. However, I think Tyler Hoechlin's performance is slightly better than Dean Cain. Cain has an excellent presence as Clark Kent, but his Man of Steel doesn't quite have Hoechlin's machismo. He wasn't bad. I mean, he served the purpose well, but Hoagland has the edge slightly. But I do love Dean Cain's metallic blue costume. So the edge from me goes to Lois and Clark, though I did love many of the episodes in Superman and Lois. The writing overall was slightly better, but the setting in the Dean Cain series had me more hooked. I also think that Lois and Clark set the stage for many more comic book television adaptations to come. While Superman and Lois seems to be coming at a time when comic book adaptations to television are starting to wane. Well, anyway, that's my take on the two series. What do you think? Did you like both? One over the other? Let me know in the comments section below your take on Superman and Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. And as always, I'd be honored if you would subscribe to my channel, ring the bell to stay informed, and check out my Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter franchise, also in the comments. And until next time, this is Kevin Given saying, live long and prosper. May the Force be with you, and keep reaching for the stars.